Oh, look at the cute Smurf. What up, YouTube? Flip here. It's been a bit longer than a hot minute since the last time I made a video, so I'm going to keep this one nice and simple. I am going to talk about why this Livewire sucks. Yeah, well, let's get to it. Why does this Livewire suck? And the second part of the video, I'm going to talk about why it took me so long to make a video about this sucking, and basically why I even took 6 to 7 months off of making videos. So yeah, but why does this thing suck? I am going to highlight just one simple little thing to just show you how the engineering is fine, and the design as far as aesthetically is fine. But where Harley and Livewire seem to miss is on just general, like, what is a bike supposed to do, why does it do it, and what's the best way to do it, right? It's like an oxymoron, this bike. It's a huge hooligan of a blast to ride, but the more hooligan you ride it, you don't have any battery. So it just sucks. I'm going to show you this one little thing that just shows you how the rest of the bike is and unnecessarily, I don't know what the right word is, bespoke? But this button right here to turn the bike on, it is so easy to just flick it off on accident, and then why not switch the switch so that that is on and this is off, where you have to make a deliberate conscious effort to turn it off instead of on accident. And then you flip this thing off on accident, and then you have a 30-second boot up screen, and if you do it while you're riding, it's just entirely irritating because you lose power. And just that alone is why the designers of this bike just made so many I don't want to say poor decisions, because like I said, the design aesthetically is cool and it's all buttoned up and the fit and finish is really high, but the design choices they made just don't make sense. So sticking with the controls, let me show you another thing that sucks. 1.1/8 clamp for the bars, 7/8 controls. Now most Harley controls are 1 inch, and most clamps are 1 inch, or sometimes they're fat bar and 1/8 to 1 inch. There are no bars that go 1/8 to 7/8. So there's no bar option for this bike. They're totally bespoke. And the mirrors screw in with a coarse thread into the bars themselves, not an insert. So you can't change the mirrors unless you do full operation. You can't cut the bars shorter to make the bike a little skinnier, because it is great for lane splitting. Because of the way that they're threaded, you won't be able to get your mirrors back on, so now you got to do that. Okay, so one of the biggest flaws of this bike, as we all know, is the range. And not only is the range not good, they also made it so that you cannot plug any extra capacity into it. So you are just stuck with this giant lump that barely goes 60, 65 miles when you're riding it hard. They say 100. I've ridden it very lightly and barely got 80 out of it. You ride it hard like I normally do, and I get like 45 to 65 miles, depending on how much coast. Some other things that make this unnecessarily expensive and hard to deal with. This rocker arm is totally awesome engineering, but it increases the cost of manufacturing so much. I mean, it's a pretty trick, but this shock and the way that they have it in here, it's nearly impossible to make adjustments because of the closeness of this, and you have to take this body panel off, and you don't get much extra room. You can barely spin this one notch at a time. So you put this really nice shock on here, and you can barely even make an adjustment to it. I mean, it's just, the whole bike is full of these poor design decisions, And ultimately, if they would have made smarter, more efficient use of the parts, they could have made this much, much cheaper. And it's really it kind of pisses me off, because it's such a fun bike to ride, but the range is so short, and the little quirks, it's nearly impossible to customize because everything is so bespoke on it. And then they pair it with these silly 19-inch wheels, which they kind of fixed in other models. They put the 17-inch on there, I believe. But then they made that the lowrider. It's just like, this, such a poor design choice. it doesn't actually have a rear brake light. They're integrated into this. So if you remove this whole thing, you basically have to get the Euro spec to get a brake light on it. The belt drive's cool. I don't have any complaints about that. I mean, so the reason I'm talking shit about it, let's get to why I'm even making this video. It's because I'm getting rid of it. I've had it for sale for months. I've had a couple people interested in it. Very few people want to pay what Harley, Livewire, and obviously buyers think it's worth. I have found a buyer. I am getting rid of it tomorrow. This is going to be my last ride, and I was just going to put a couple more thoughts on video, and yeah, I'm saying goodbye to the S2DM, the S2 Del Mar, the good old Livewire. Yeah. Somebody in the video when I first made this, they're like, you don't even know the name of it. And I'm like, I don't even know if Harley knows the name of it. It's got so many different names. S2 Del Mar, S2 Del Mar, S2DM, Livewire Del Mar, Livewire S2. Who knows? What the official name is too long. Let's just agree to that. The bike is awesome when you're riding it. I mean, that's plain and simple. But everything else surrounding this bike is trash. It has no range. You can't customize it. It's way too expensive for what it is. Yeah. I'm so happy I finally found a buyer. I was really worried about the warranty ends in about 2 months on this bike. And my goal was to get rid of this before the warranty ended, because obviously I don't want to have any issues. Now, that being said, Harley does say that they're going to take care of the electronics and the battery for 5 years warranty, and just everything else is 2 years. But also I know there are very, very few Livewire technicians at any of these Harley dealerships, so finding one, so not only if you go online and find out, quite a few of these bikes are having issues. And this one, you know, I haven't had any issues. It's a good specimen, but I haven't put it through its paces either. I only put 2,300 miles on it, and most of that miles is just kind of hooligan miles of back and forth in my neighborhood and to work, downtown. I've done a very few long rides, or I've attempted long rides. I think maybe 2. So it's kind of a very welcomed goodbye. Normally I'm pretty sad about the bikes that are going away, but this one, I'm just happy to get rid of it. If it ever has any future problems, they're not going to be my problem. And that's it. That's, you know, and there's not much more else to say about it. I mean, I could sit here and just complain about lots of little things, but that's not worth it. I don't have to tell any of you, don't buy this, because you're not buying it. But yeah, don't buy this. I can say that now. Meaning specifically this one. Like, I couldn't make a video on it because I wanted to trash talk it, and I'm trying to sell it, and it's not good salesmanship. Which leads me to, you know, why did I take so long to make this video? Well, this specific video about the Livewire, that's the reason. I never really had anything good to say about it after my first 9 months and the whole hooliganness of, you know, being able to out 0 to 60, you know, a Porsche or something like that. Once that wore off, I didn't have anything really good to say about this bike. So another reason it took me so long to make another video, I kind of took a break. I kind of got burnt out. Not because of the vlogs. These vlogs are absolutely super easy to edit, which is why I'm making it. And to be honest, I'm just lazy when it comes to video. Because I actually tried to make a bunch of longer, better, more edited, like travel style videos. And I failed. I'd made 3 different trips out to the West Coast to ride other people's bikes, and it just didn't work out. And that's what took me so long. This is a hard gig, and I was just doing it as a hobby. I was just doing it because I like motorcycles, and I have opinions about them. Yeah, so I think my big lesson was one person can't do it all. You just can't. A lot of these YouTubers that are successful have these huge teams, or small teams, but you need a team. And I think that's pretty obvious. And what I tried to do with some travel videos, was just too much for one single person to be able to take care of and actually have good results. I mean, I got results. I got results, but they were not good. One of these days, I'm just going to put up some footage of riding along the West Coast to some music. Yeah, so I think there's going to be some future videos. I am definitely going to do a video of my new bike, but I am not going to reveal that here. It is a bike I've always wanted to own. It's been on my bucket list. I've ridden it several times. And I will just give you one hint. A certain YouTuber who reviewed the bike in rain mode the whole time and hated on it. All right, one last little quirk I wanted to mention. The heartbeat. Designers, why? Why did you engineer the bike to have a heartbeat when you're not riding? The thought process was to let you know it's still on? Like I couldn't tell by looking down at my dash? Like, how much time did that add to the research and development of this bike that ended up into its price tag? You know? Or, I've always thought about this. The way Harley prices things is purely emotional. Their marketing is entirely based on people's emotions. So did they just come up with this $15,000 because they thought that's what people were willing to pay for an emotional buy for an EV bike? Like, why was that the spec when designing this to say, let's make an EV bike for 10 grand? This bike would have been perfect and you would have sold so many of them if you priced it at 10K. Now, you guys can barely give them away. It does. You guys just kind of suck at marketing. Sorry to say that, but you all do. You're kind of killing the EVs an early deathbed for your poor marketing. Everybody needs to understand in the industry, if you want to sell EV motorcycles, you got to make them cheap. You got to make them cheap. Got it? Make them affordable. That's who wants the EV bikes. Not rich assholes who have plenty of money to spend will buy their emotional bikes that they want. You got to make the EVs cheap. That's the market. Under 10 grand. A $6,000 EV bike with 100 miles of range is going to sell well. You don't need to put Brembos and bespoke parts on it and heartbeats. All right. Maybe somebody at Livewire will watch this video and be like, oh, yeah, you're right. Oh, that's a flip guy. Seems to be on the nose. Yeah, not going to happen.